Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Kickback. I am your host, The Dude, and as we do every week, we do some great interviews with ordinary people doing some extraordinary things in their lives. Tonight, we have a wonderful guest. First of all, I want to let you know about our sponsor, Martin's Chicken and Waffles. If you've never heard about Martin Chicken and Waffles, then you should go check them out. They are a wonderful, wonderful family putting out some extraordinary food. And it is a great, great place. It is located at 207 South Waters Avenue in Gallatin, Tennessee. That is Martin's Chicken and Waffles. Go check them out. They sponsor The Kickback. And we just like to say thank you to everyone who listens to The Kickback. We appreciate you all so much. And we just thank you for all the love that you give us.
The kickback, the place for brothers. Yeah. The kickback, a place for brothers. Yeah. The kickback, a place for brothers. Yeah. The kickback, a place for brothers. A place for brothers. The kickback. A place for brothers. The kickback. A place for the kickback. A place for brothers. Yeah. The kickback. A place for brothers. Yeah. The kickback. A place for brothers.
Hello, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Doing just great, my brother. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I thought you had prior arrangements.
I did, but we finished early.
All righty. Well, it's always...
He just texted me telling me that he said the link is not working. It's going to be one of them shows.
Man.
Got the text not working. Hold on for a second, I think. Let me try something. And he is on an Apple product, too.
Okay. I mean, says a lot about Apple.
Yeah, they're too proprietary.
Right, man. There's something else, man. I sent 2 links. I sent a new link because I shut the first one down because I sat there for 10 minutes and no one came. And so I sent a second link. And I sent the same link to you, and you came straight in on the link I sent you.
Mm-hmm. Well, Joe is a little older than me, so, we didn't grow up with this technology. He's still trying to figure out how to use his phone.
Them doggone iPhones.
Yeah. I hear once you learn how to work them, they're great. But
right.
You got to sit down. It's like taking a first semester college course working them things.
Right. I'll stick with my Android all day long.
Yeah. I did go by the shop today, and the girl told me, she said, look, I would recommend that you come back on Friday when I get my new merch in. So she's like, you could buy this 2024 one, but the 2025s will be out on Friday, and you can get it for about the same price, maybe $10 more. So I thought I'll come back.
Sounds good. I mean, hey, if you're going to get a deal, then go with the deal.
What you said?
Yes, sir. All day long.
Come on, Smokin Joe. And we got some things coming up here. Smokin Joe entered alive. We got the Smokin Joe.
Hello?
Hey, how we doing?
Hey, we doing fine. How about you today, sir?
Oh, Howard, fantastic, fantastic.
Fantastic, man. It's been a fight, but we got you in here finally. TKO knockout on the new modern equipment. All righty. So welcome to the kickback. I am your host, the dude, AKA Joe. So it's two Joes in the building.
God is good. What can I
God,
say?
man, God is always good. He is amazing, and he's blessed me abundantly.
Amen. Amen. Hey, can
Amen.
I ask one question before I jump off?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe, Smokin Joe. We'll call you Smokin Joe so we don't confuse you with the host Joe. But
Okay.
Smokin Joe, were you involved in either of the first two barbecue cook-offs here in Bordeaux?
No, you talking about down at the down at
All
Sam Kirk?
yes, yes.
No, no, I was in one, and this cause that's been over 10 years ago though.
All right. Well, we're starting that back up. They've done it for 2 years in a row now, so they're going to do the third one this year. They're not thinking about doing it in August. They're thinking about pushing it back into maybe September, October. But I definitely want to get you in there because the guy that won it the last 2 years, he's talking trash, saying ain't no barbecue people around here. He ain't got no competition.
I don't fool with amateurs no more.
He said, "I don't fool with amateurs no more."
No, I'm
Oh
sorry.
my goodness. Well, we know you're a professional, but we don't want him to get a case of the big head. We need somebody to humble him. So if you got the
Okay.
time, my brother, I'm gonna shoot you those details. I'd love to have you come down here and spank him.
Oh yeah, okay. I hear
All right,
you.
y'all. I'm gonna jump out the room.
Okay.
All righty, my brother. We will catch up with you later. All righty, Mr. Joe. Welcome to the kickback again. I am your host. They call me the dude, but my name is Joe. And when I saw tonight that I was hosting another Tennessee native by the name of Joe, it was pretty exciting to me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Cowboy, farm boy,
Farm boy,
farm raised kid.
farm raised kid. Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir. You are from Brownsville, Tennessee.
That's correct.
All righty. You were raised by your grandparents and you were a grandpa's boy.
Oh yeah, what a time, what a time.
What a time. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you grew up in an era that was totally different than today, and the world looked totally different at you and us in this world. How did you manage to get into the business of barbecue?
Oh, we've been doing barbecue for this make 58 years that we've been doing it with our family reunion. So, just got into it from granddaddy and church members, mostly church members and stuff. And we just got into it. I mean, we were in contracting first, and then we wanted to, we went broke in contracting, went bankrupt. I said, Lord, I need something. And then the spirit came and said, people gonna eat if they don't do anything. They're gonna eat. They gotta eat to go to work, gotta have strength. So I chose food. In fact, he showed me food.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
picked that up, picked that parable up and ran with it.
That is, and that's a true fact. I spent 20 years in different kitchens around Nashville, and you're right about that. That's one thing. People are going to eat. Now, what was it like growing up in West Tennessee during the time you grew up, and what was the atmosphere like in the barbecue community, or was your community a small, tight-knit community and you knew everyone? Hello? Mr. Joe? Hello? Looks like we lost him. I don't know what happened, people.
Yeah,
And
it
we're
looks like.
glad that you're here. I'm here. I'm back
Today
there
we
now.
have
Oh,
another
okay.
amazing
person that we're going to be today. If you know anything about this
what is going on?
what we do is
I
we
don't
just
know.
have amazing conversations and we just kind of lay back. How you doing today, sir? Welcome to the Kickback.
I don't know.
Hello, sir. Hello. How are you all today? We're doing well. How about you?
I don't know why we're having playback from another show.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. That's always amazing.
You're playing another show in the background somehow.
It's love everyone because we know that love isn't always given, but it's always.
I don't know what's going on with it.
My. It is. It's always taken. People
Yes. Just go out and come back in.
But I tell people, my new thing is.
I don't know, everybody. We're having some technical difficulties. If you just give us a moment, we will get back to this wonderful interview.
He said he was listening to a previous episode. Apparently, he didn't turn it off. I told him to go completely out of podcast, or Podbean. I told him to turn Podbean off, but apparently he must have hit it and turned it back on.
Right. He probably turned on the episode he was listening to, and it's echoing through his device. Hey, technology, sometimes it's good for us, sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I'd rather be apostolic than apostolic.
Where does Mr. Joe live at?
I'm not sure, but I mean, we run into each other at the Northwest Y in the morning, so he's somewhere here in the Bordeaux area. He's not far.
If this doesn't work out tonight, we may have to do an in-person.
Okay.
We may have to do an in-person interview with him because, like you said, technology is always not the greatest for people of the silent generation.
Or the early baby boomers.
Oh, the early baby boomers.
But I'm at the end of the baby boomers in 61. He's probably 10 years older than me.
Yeah, and that's why I said the silent generation, because I believe he's probably a part of the silent generation, because looking at his history with the website, it's, he said, 53 years that they've been in business?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to think about 53 years.
He's in the 70s.
Right. So I would call that, right at maybe the beginning of the boomers, right at the end of the silence.
Yeah, 45, I think, is the beginning of the baby boomers. 45, yeah, that was
we
the
back?
line between.
We're back.
All right,
gentlemen.
Yes. Somehow I know somebody tried to call me and it just messed up.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Somebody tried to call you. All righty. So what I was asking was, what was the atmosphere like in West Tennessee when you were growing up? Was it, did you grow up in a mixed community, or did you grow up in a tight-knit community of people you knew?
Tight-knit community. My grandfather on his farm, and one of those guys where there were 8 children, and this slave owner named Johnny Bond bought 7 of them and didn't have tax money to pay for the 8th one. So started from those roots, and then working at home on the farm, plowing the mule this time of the year. Fantastic when you burn the grass off and the mules get a chance to get behind them. And then every now and then they raise their tail and put a little fragrance out there for you. Man, I love those days.
Yes, sir. I totally understand. And I've rode through some of the backwoods of West Tennessee all the way down to Arkansas, and I see they burn off the fields. And from what I understand, that is so you can start a new crop, right?
There you go.
All righty. So you now reside here in Nashville, right?
That's correct.
Okay. What side of town you live on?
We live on the north side of Kings Lane area.
Okay, so you're over in the Bordeaux area.
Bordeaux,
Bordeaux area. So, what did you do when you moved to Nashville? Were you still cooking, or did you take on another job?
I taken up masonry in high school. My last senior year of high school, I taken up masonry when vocational first came
Yeah.
to to high school. Taking up masonry and then brought it to Nashville. Got a job making $7.15 an hour. Staying at home on the farm making $4.50 a week. I thought it was a great opportunity for me to come to Nashville.
What year was that when you was making $7.50 an hour?
This was in 1973.
Oh, you was pooping in hot cotton making that much money in
Man, what,
1973.
what you talking about? You talking about high cotton?
Man,
Ooh wee!
you were making big dollars. If you were making $7, anything over five back then, you were almost a rich man.
Oh, you know what though? I used to pick 300 pounds of cotton a day, and they made $3. So if I went to the field 5 days, then I had $15, to go uptown and go to the movies and buy some popcorn and just have a great time.
So going from making $15 a week to making $7 an hour, how did that change your life?
Tremendously. I mean, in high school, because I come up during the integration part, and like
Uh-huh.
eighth grade, got put back to the fifth grade, and then had to go from five all the way back through high school. And so it was three blacks in the school, and some grandma, three black boys, and about 4 or 5 black young ladies. So now I don't know why I ended up because my grandfather had a store, and I had these two teachers, man, Miss Cargyle and Miss Whitehead. And now I know I could count, but I didn't care about reading that much because I wanted to stay out on the farm, with my grandfather. So I knew I could count real good math, add, subtract, all of that. But they would still give me an F and put a big red mark around it and I had to stand up in front of the class and hold it up. What a time, what a time.
So, so you telling me you would do your work and you knew your work and they would still give you an F.
Yes, sir. A red one, too.
And this was when you were still on the farm, still living in West Tennessee.
Right.
So, West Tennessee, Brownsville, what is that town like now? Because I can remember visiting Brownsville. My grandpa used to date a young lady out of Brownsville years ago, and I can remember visiting Brownsville coming from Nashville, and it was like two totally different worlds.
Hey, it's altogether different now. We have a black mayor. I always have had 85% blacks, but never had a black mayor until maybe 8 years ago. Maybe about 8 years ago. I think it's his fourth time. Uh, Bill Ross, young man named Bill Ross Jr.
Right, and then a lot of people don't know the famous Annie Mae came from that neighborhood.
Yeah, yep, sure did. And Tina Turner as well.
Yes, 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 yes. And a lot of people don't know, they sing the song, Oh, Nutbush, but they really don't know that Nutbush was a small subsidiary area right outside of Brownsville.
Exactly. Hmm.
So from what I see, you've done a lot in the food industry. Looks like you have seasonings. You've done competitions all over. You've been even featured on News Channel 5's Talk of the Town. Are you still doing competitions, and where can we find your sauces and your seasonings at nowadays?
We had it everywhere. Kroger, Florida, Atlanta, Louisville, had it everywhere. COVID come in and just wiped it out, and then we started back over again about almost 2 years ago. Started back out again. So now we have the Smokin Joe sauces, about 7 of them, on smokinjoesfood.com on our website.
Yeah. and that's where I'm at. I'm on your website, checking it out and looking at it, and that's how I found your story about your grandpa and how you came up. That's how I knew about Brownsville, Tennessee, and your grandpa, and what was his name was
Johnny Bond.
Johnny, and Granny's name was Fannie Mae.
Right.
Man, that name Fannie Mae is so synonymous in the black community. I had an auntie named Fannie Mae. She was one beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, beautiful spirit.
Man, beautiful spirit, man. She had such a beautiful spirit, Fannie Mae. That name just rings so synonymous, and it's just so near and dear to my heart, man, because she was like my other mother.
Oh yeah, and because she was grandmother through my grandfather's second wife. His first wife was Eunice, and she passed, and he met Fannie Mae at the gravesite and walks up to her and says, "I'm looking for a wife."
At the gravesite, he walks up to this woman and says, "I'm looking for a wife."
Yes, sir. She
And the
said,
rest is history.
"The rest is history." Yes,
The
sir.
rest is history.
Yeah.
So, you left Brownsville, you came to Nashville. How was your food received when you came to Nashville?
Well, I mean, it was a whole lot of stuff, that I was into, like masonry. And when I learned, after I learned masonry, I got on a masonry job, Jack Norman Construction Company. Never will forget it. Went out there and I worked from 7 o'clock to 9:15 and made $21 and some change. Then I taken all that money, because when I got to Nashville, they said play numbers, play numbers, play numbers. So I taken all that money and played up in numbers, the whole check. Didn't win a thing. So I got to change my strategy. So this guy named Moses Allen said, "Hey, young man, before you go," he said, "go out to the union hall and tell them you want to be an apprentice." He said, "take $80 with you." So I taken $80 with me and went to the union hall. And then they said, "Stick around, young man, stick around." And so ain't nobody there but me and the older guys had left and a bunch of white guys. So I sticks around, and then they pulled out the poker cards. And then I said, "You want to play?" So I sit down and play a hand of poker with them. And I seen my 20s in red. That's why I'm marking them in red to make sure the dude went where they're supposed to go. I don't know what told me to do that, though, but I put the red check marks on those 20. Heck, them 20 back across the table at me. I didn't pay no more union dues. I stayed out there. Man, I stayed out there and got my 6 months out of the way. And then Mose Adams guy says go and to Fort Campbell and tell them you're a bricklayer now. I went to Fort Campbell and I said, "I'm a bricklayer, Bush Building Company." And they put me in charge of laying out the whole uh, housing up there complex up there at Fort Campbell. This was
So
about 1976.
you poured the housing complex for Fort Campbell?
I did the layout, like the first course of block,
Yeah.
each corner for each building. I did was the lead man on the layout. I had to lay 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, one corner, go to another corner, all over the whole complex. And then
Wow.
in 1976, I
Man.
said, "Well, man, I want to go to my family reunion." And then the man said, "Well, if you come back, you're not going to have a job." I said, "What you mean I ain't going to have a job when I come back? I'm a foreman. I'm a layout man." He said, "I can't promise you have a job." So I said, "Okay, I'm going to this family reunion. I done bought this 1975 Ford Canadian Ford truck, stick in the floor, and put Mickey Thompson on the back, wide tires on the back, and another exhaust fan. I've got to go." I stopped on the way out, and I seen a guy was building a burger chef. The guy, I stopped. I said, "Man, you got somebody laid on bricks?" He said, "No, I'm looking for somebody." I said, "Okay, I'll lay them when I get back." Got back and I did that job, and then I did never stop. Once that one job I got, I started my own company in 1976. Yeah, I
Word
built
of
it
mouth.
amazing.
They
Word of
say
mouth.
word of mouth makes more millionaires than any advertising you can put on a billboard.
There you go. There you go. So I did like Memphis State student housing, Knoxville student housing, Chattanooga, Murfreesboro, went all over the state of Tennessee with my Mason guys and laborers, and did all that stuff, and then came back, went into building in '84, got a whole lot of money, nothing to do with it, Mercedes Benz, nice house stuff. Let me try this contractor. Then the interest rate went up in 1988, 89, 90. Millions and millions worth of dollars worth of real estate out there. None of it sold. Too high to sell. Bankrupt me in 92. Uh, and then I said, okay, food. So, Vision came in and said food. People don't eat before they do anything. That's when I started food. When I started the food business, I started, my granddaughter's granddaddy said, Joe, he said, ain't no fish over here on this side of town. Ed fish was going on, but no fish on this side of town. I said, okay, I do fish. And so I had reached back and got one of them old recipes that granddad had down out the Hatchet River. And I just started doing fish, and then come behold, fish started doing 73% of the sales, and barbecue started doing 37%. So wait a minute, you got hold of something here. So
Right.
uh,
Now we're working with some hot grease.
what you talking about? So I kept doing the fish, and kept doing it, and very successful business.
Okay. So where were you located at when you were doing the fish business?
Crawford Highway. Well, I went to Jones and Douglas at first, and G's over there now.
Now,
I
Little
built a building
C's.
over there. Little
Little
C,
C's.
I built that building over there.
Okay. So you're the person that built that building.
I personally built that building, and then I had an SBA loan, so all these cars over there, I'm sitting there saying, man, I'm gonna make a killing. But all the cars end up being people, buying drugs across the street from me.
Yeah.
We working right there across the street on a building, laying bricks. And man, look at all these people. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers. I'm talking about fine cars, white suit, white coats, everything. I said, no, I'm gonna go right here. The SBA said, no, we got a piece of property in Metro Center over there where Wendy's at. I can get it for you. You qualify for it. All them cars, I was stuck over there in the hood, and missed out on that opportunity. But then here come the guy comes says, white man, always dealing with white folks. I knew white folks all my life. Been around. My grandmother was, her was born by her mother, which was a white slave owner. So I'm saying, I want your keys. What you mean you want my keys? Okay. Well, ain't no nigga got no business with no SBA loan nowhere. I shouldn't be using that terminology on here.
Right. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
make sure you blanket.
Yes.
So anyway, I took, okay, you can have my keys, but you won't take, you can't have what's in my head.
Right.
So I was more determined then to keep moving and what I believed in and what, the vision that I had gotten
Right.
in
So
life.
that's what I talk about when I say what was the atmosphere like, because in the day and time, I'm a younger guy, so I never really witnessed a whole lot of racism in my life. But I know coming up for you, it was more prevalent. And that's what I was asking about earlier. In West Tennessee, was racism very prevalent? Or like I said, you all were a tight knit community. You said it was 85% black, but was there still racism there?
Big time. And everybody was scared, man. Everybody thought, man, look, them people put the people's out for. My grandfather put a tent city down there on his land for people to come and live and raise their family because they didn't want to go and work for a monster again.
Right.
So, yeah, so we had like a whole community of, and then he never would, get into the loop with everybody else because he had a grocery store. He had to buy groceries from them people.
Right. So he had to do business with them.
And to do business with them, had to stay low profile. Don't use my name for nothing.
Right, right. Unless it's something to do with some legit business.
Not even legit. Don't use.
He
I
said,
mean,
"Don't,
like,
none of, I don't care. Don't even use my name at all. Just don't
don't
use
use
my
my
name."
name. Yeah, I'm like 5, 6 years old. They they blackball my daddy because he was one of those NAACP guys. Man, NAACP. Man, he gonna put. They got National Guard all around the courthouse now, and he gonna put me through the fence. Man, what? I'm kicking it out of the can. I don't get scratched by barbed wire. What you, I'm saying that myself, man, why you put me out there?
Yeah, yeah. He put you, man, you gonna go through that fence. I'll watch your
Yeah,
back.
yeah, they ain't gonna hurt no kids. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
ooh, what a scene, what a scene. But God is good, though, Doc. I
But
tell
the thing
you,
is, you've made it through all these things, all these adversities, all that life has thrown at you, and you've seen this world change so dramatically. So dramatically. What about Nashville? Now you say it was big time racism down in Brownsville. When you got to Nashville, did you experience it on the same level or was it a little different?
it was a little different. It was sort of low key back then, but I mean, it is wide open now. Man, Lord, have mercy. Bless President Obama. Jesus Christ. Man, he became our president. They took the shade. They didn't have to have the sheets on no more.
Right. Now
Just
that,
walk the street
yeah,
straight.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
it
Yes,
is. It is
crazy.
become a open market on ignorance.
What you say?
It's
What you
become an
say?
open market on ignorance, and I don't do ignorance very well. So I try to do the best I can to stay in my particular lane and thank the Lord that blesses me to wake up every day to not have to deal with some of these ignorant people out here in the world that feel like they're superior because their skin is a different color than mine.
What you say? I'm telling you. And I mean, it haven't. It's gotten worse. I would say. Well, we don't have the back then. They had lynchings, and stuff. They would hang you in a tree and stuff, and we had one cousin. We had one cousin named Jack Hopper. I mean, he would, ooh, you do something to him, he gonna take some of your deputies out. That man was
Right.
there.
So he was a wild man.
He was a wild man. Yes, sir.
Man, he was a wild man.
Yeah.
So you are how many siblings do you have?
We had 13. Well, now I have 4. I have 4 now.
Four left. It was 13 of y'all,
13,
and
but see, it's 5 of us left now.
it's
It's
on.
5 left
It's
now.
5 of y'all left now.
Right, right.
And in the order of everybody that's left, are you the oldest or the youngest?
I'm the middle. I'm the middle son now. This
Okay,
is
so
the
you the
third.
middle.
Right, right.
Yeah, you number 3, so that makes you the middle. Because you
Uh-huh.
got 2 above you and 2 below you.
Yeah, we had 3 more above me, but then I'm the middle. Out of the 10.
Yeah.
I'm the third out of the 10. Yeah, with my
So
mom.
where's everybody at? Are they in Nashville? Some of them still
They
in West
deceased, man.
Tennessee?
They all deceased.
Oh, okay, they all deceased. So how many siblings do you have still alive?
I'm 5.
5?
Myself, my my older brother Johnny, and then three girls.
And everybody's in Nashville now?
Everybody in Nashville. Yeah, well, now one in Memphis, and then one in Jackson, and then
Okay.
2 up here.
So
Yeah.
what do you do now? Do you still barbecue? Do you have a restaurant? Do you still sell food? What are you doing nowadays?
No, no, no. We do catering now. We big supporter of TSU. We do, help with TSU football and stuff for TSU period, really. Because I after what I went through during my middle high school kid, I'm a football player, and I had a scholarship to go to Georgia Tech, and then went back for the class reunion 10 years later, picking the coach out to give me my scholarship, full ride Georgia Tech. But see, I said, oh my God. I tell
Right,
you something else, something else.
right, right.
Mm-hmm. And so,
So that's crazy.
what did you say, man? It's crazy.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Go back for your 10-year
10 years. Mm-hmm.
anniversary, and then he comes out and hands you some papers, and it was your scholarship papers that they never gave to you.
Never gave to me. And I mean, it was tough. It was real. It was tough. It was tough. And we have 4 kids. We have 4 kids now. We have 2 boys, 2 girls. My older daughter, she has TJ's barbecue on down there on Ed Temple, a little drive through. My younger daughter, she's a nurse, and then my older son, he's coming out of recruitment, and then my baby son, bless his heart, third Russian running back in the state of Tennessee, and we sent him to school on football scholarship, and got down there, and things went wrong. High school, upperclassmen, and I tell any parents, you got kids that's athletes, tell them before they leave home, do not put your bottled water down, your Gatorade, whatever you have, do not put it down, because they put some kind of campus drug in my baby son in 2006. Graduated 2006, got him out of town in 2006 in May. I think he graduated in May. He in Jackson, Mississippi that weekend. Also, with our young peoples too, gangs. And nobody bring home nothing. Now, parents, if you listening and your son coming home, take the vacuum cleaner, go upstairs or downstairs, wherever you got him at, start vacuuming. If that vacuum cleaner pick up some bullets, you ain't got no gun. Why in the world is your vacuum cleaner done picking up bullets?
Right.
We got to keep an eye on that. As
Yes.
well as if they get in trouble, they're safer in-house, jail, prison, wherever it is, than they are out here on these streets. If they're not, doing the right thing.
Amen.
If you're not
Amen.
doing the right thing.
I
And so,
totally agree with you.
yeah, look, I mean, my baby son, my wife, love him to death. And I do too. But then after not taking medication, if you got kids out there and they don't take the medication, then let them hit the wall that they're going to hit. That's the only way they're going to be able to learn. You can't keep getting them out of jail, paying your money out to get them out, and their mind, is in a different state. They're in a different state of mind.
Yes.
So we had a tough situation in 2021. My baby son, him and my brother, and my brother didn't have no business fooling with his nephew, or dealing with his nephew in drugs or taking drugs, whatever it was. We don't know. But anyway, he killed my brother, and he came home to kill me and my wife. And parents, we had to be real careful how we treat our kids. It was the demonic spirit that was in my son that came home to kill me and my wife. Now I taken 18 stitches, but I'm sitting there, I'm praying. I'm like, Job, man, though you slay me, yet will I trust. I started calling Jesus. Jesus, and then start telling the devil, you can't have my son. Devil, you can't have my son. We wrestled. We shot my TV out, shot the hole up in the ceiling. I don't know where my bullets went to. Come to find out, one of them went in my leg. So, and then he taking my gun. He never did take it out of my hand. But we rolled, and then I fell on top of him. And then he taking my gun and put it in his mouth and begged me to kill him. He told me, I killed Unc. Kill me, Daddy. I said, you ain't fit to live, you ain't fit to die. And then I felt some help coming from somewhere. Had it been the Spirit of God. I had been calling him, said, Lord, give me strength. I'm out of wind. I'm out of breath almost, about to have a heart attack. Help me, Lord, help me. All of a sudden, you can't even explain it. Something went out the window. And I said, had it been a demonic spirit that was in my son. That's where, I mean, oof. But it makes me strong when I talk about it because
Yes.
I know that our people, that are black people, black race of people need to know that there is a God.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen. So, where's your son at now?
He's in Whiteville, Tennessee. He's doing like 35 years.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't want to, they didn't
So,
want to his electric chair.
yeah. So he got 35 years. So, praise God that you're still here, able to tell the
Yes,
story
yes,
and
yes,
give God the glory for you being here. And like you said, you're like Job. You got a few shots, you got a few stitches, but you're still here.
I'm still here.
The glory of God is always wonderful, ain't it?
Oh, what you say, what you say.
And when
And
you
yeah,
got down to the end of your breath,
I
that's when
got
that
down to,
demon left.
that's when that demon left. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, shoot, you can't hardly explain it.
But the thing is, a lot of people, when they get down to that last breath, they give up. They
They
give
do.
up. They get down to that last breath and they just give up. But see, God gave you the strength to keep going because it only took the faith of a mustard seed to make anything happen. So that little bit of strength you had was enough to wrestle that demon out of your son.
Tell me about it.
It was
I,
enough to wrestle that demon out of your son. Whatever they did to him, whatever they gave to him, God bless their souls for whatever they done to him. But God bless his soul that, like you said, you too good for death, you too good for life, and I'm not going to take your life tonight.
that's right.
Because you could have easily pulled the trigger and took his life.
Yeah, could have.
You
I
could have
mean,
easily pulled the trigger and
yeah,
took his life.
he taking it and stuck it in his mouth. He taking the pistol and stuck it in his mouth.
But you're
And,
not God. You're a
whoa,
child of God.
that's right. You're a child of God. And
God
he's
gives
doing great.
life and he takes life.
He does. He really does. And he's doing great. I mean, he's loving it, man. He's down there loving it. Forgive me, Daddy. Forgive me, Mom. But why do you still, talking to me? Why do you, speak to me after what I've done? I said, you didn't do it. It was the demonic spirit that was in you. You didn't know what was in you that caused you to do what you did. But now you have the time now, to learn from that mistake. Accept Christ in your heart. See, God, hey, a man can act a fool all he want to until he accept Christ in his heart. He is talking loud and ain't saying nothing.
Hey, I know that road. I
Uh-huh.
know that road. God came to me and he
It's
said, it's time.
it's
Time
time.
to surrender my son.
Yes,
And from the time I surrendered to God, my life has been abundantly blessed.
oh yes, Lord.
Abundantly blessed. But before I surrendered to God, it's like I couldn't catch a break to save my life.
Yes,
I
yes.
was here, I was there, I was everywhere. But when God said it's time for me to surrender and he settled my spirit, I tell you, it's the best feeling I've ever had in my life.
Yes, sir. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Now you were saying your daughter runs a little barbecue place
Yeah,
over off of where?
the TJ's, Ed Temple Boulevard. It used to be called Simon Croquette. It's right there at it's right there at the Church of God.
On Ed Temple?
On Ed Temple, the Church of God right there. They have that building right there that they lease out
Oh, across the street from Schrader Lane?
across the street from Straight Line. Right down the
Okay.
corner. I think it's 28th
Yeah,
and
28th
Temple.
and Jefferson. Well,
28th.
yeah, it turns into you know how the road goes right over
Yeah,
there. One side is 28th, the other side is Ed Temple
that's
Boulevard,
right. Yeah,
and Jefferson's the cross street, and I forgot the little
right,
side
right.
street right there.
Yeah. She's on Ed Temple right down the corner.
Okay, and what does she sell there?
She sells fish there. She sells barbecues, you know, vegetables and stuff. Just a bunch of everything. Hmm.
Okay,
She's been there like 33 years now. Uh,
33 years, man, that is amazing. 33 years in the business, so it must make pretty good money.
Oh yeah, they voted #1 in Tennessee. It's been 20 years ago now, probably.
You gave it that old secret recipe,
I
didn't
did a old recipe.
you? As I knew it, you gave it that old secret recipe
Yeah,
from
yes,
down
sir.
there in the country.
Yeah, and
Man,
they do real well, you know.
okay. And
Man, if a man can't help somebody along his way, then your living gonna end up being in vain. And I just refuse for my living to be in vain.
that is it. And I love the fact, and I appreciate the fact of you sharing your story about your son, because here, that's what we do. We share true, vulnerable, and transparent moments, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to build a community that helps each other. And as you said earlier, as African American people, we don't always believe in the help. You know, I love God, I love Jesus, I love all that, but sometimes in our culture, we go to the church for everything. Now, the church is a hospital, and it's a place for broken people to go and get themselves washed of their sins. But sometimes you need to go see a medical doctor and let them figure out what's going on inside your head.
You have to.
Right.
Very important.
You got to pray and go see that doctor, not just pray. Because what does God say? He says prayer without works is dead.
That's right.
So I'm just going to sit here and pray all day, but I'm not going to do anything to actually fix the problem that's going on inside my son, my daughter, or me. I'm just going to pray about it. But God put doctors and medication and all these things here for us to better ourselves. I'm not saying just overly do it with the medication, but I know people that have taken medication and did what it exercised, talked about it, got it out, did whatever it took to get to that next level and get whatever it was off of them. I know people that have beat diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, different types of cancer, but they didn't just go to church and pray every day. They did whatever it took to change what was going on inside of their bodies.
Exactly. And it starts in the home too. I mean, you can go to church, you know, church is good. But then sometimes, like, in our churches, and I love my church, I love my pastor. Uh, when young men, young men, you know, mama, you know, we drag our kids to church. And then when they see the pastor get out and get in one of those big, black, good looking, nice vehicles, a Mercedes Benz or something, with them great big wheels and stuff on it, well, if you don't take your son back home and teach him, you know, what the word, then he thinking he's got to go out there without a degree and be a street pharmacist.
Exactly. Because he wants what he saw the pastor driving.
Get him every time. Pastor always said, do as I say and not as I do.
That is one of the biggest lies we've told ourselves and our children a long time ago. That is one of the biggest lies we've told ourselves and our children a long time ago.
A long time ago.
You know, it's like the old thing, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Mm-hmm.
That statement has hurt so many families over the years. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about when I say what stays in this house stays in this house. Everybody got that uncle. You know what I'm talking about? That uncle that likes to get a little too friendly with the
Sir.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to keep that in the house. Now we need to tell on him because that uncle need to go to jail. Somebody need to do something about him.
Yes, immediately.
Immediately. Because that has been something that has plagued the community for so many years, being essayed, you know, being touched by a cousin or somebody like that. And then somebody tells you, well, what goes on in my house need to stay in my house. So now we're carrying around all of this stuff that we've had to swallow and hide for so many years. Now we out here crazy.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
I
The
don't
public
tell my
place.
children that. I don't tell my children what goes on in this house stays in this house. I explain to my children, listen, everything is not for everybody to know.
Exactly. That's
You know,
correct.
because there are certain things that go on inside your house that everyone on the outside does not need to know. But that is a small percentage of things that people don't need to know. If somebody's touching you, hurting you, or doing something wrong to you, then you need to tell somebody.
Male or female.
Male, exactly. I ain't say nothing about no gender, male or female. If somebody's doing something wrong to you, then you need to let somebody know.
I'm telling you.
But you know, it's things like that. And I say I appreciate you for telling your story and letting people know that things happen. That somebody put something in your son's drink that drove him to the place he was at mentally. It screwed up his body chemistry and sent him into a different world. There are a lot of our babies out here that people have done that to, and they can't explain why they're the way that they are. And then the world says, "Oh, he's just crazy. He just messed up." No, somebody did something to that baby.
That's right.
Somebody did something to that baby to make them that way.
And then, I mean, you know, if you got a kid that's got mental illness, now, and then you put them in incarceration, you put them in there with the criminals. You know, I mean, we tried for years to get help from the state. You don't forget about the state; they don't give you nothing. And all the way to he was 26 years old. He had insurance all the way to 26. Man, the man took a shot, gave him a shot, and the shot lasts 30 days. We paying for it. Keep getting it to him. No. And then those psychologists. Oh, he's good to stand trial. But you let a non African American kid go. Well, he can't stand trial.
Exactly. And I'm glad you changed your wording. I appreciate that. But I know exactly what you mean because it happens every day.
Every day.
It happens every day.
And then they rather pay 115, 100 some $1,000 a year for to hire one person than to help somebody that's on the street. I never seen nothing like it.
Oh, no. I mean, and that's my thing. I talk about that all the time. You got all these people with all this money. They got all this money. Why can't we help these people that are on the streets?
It's something else, I tell you.
It's this world. It's so full of greed. So full of
You
greed.
say that? Oh, where you said a mouthful that time?
So full of greed, man. Nobody wants to help anybody. Nobody wants to see the next man doing better. And that's a shame. That's a shame. Because you didn't always have it. You didn't always have it. And the bad part about it is somebody had to help you get it.
Exactly.
But then once you got it, you felt like you was too good to share it with anybody else.
And don't go down there talking about voting for nobody. once they get in office, what you say your name was?
Right. Then they don't know you.
Oh my God.
Then they don't know you once they get in that office. But they was shaking your hand and all in your face trying to get you to donate to their campaign fund. But then once they get in office, you know, it changes. And I'm not big into politics, and I don't really like to talk about politics, but I'll say this. I've realized that it doesn't matter what color you are, what side of the tracks you come from, every politician is a liar.
Oh, I couldn't run. That's I've been offered to run many times, but I can't lie.
Every politician is a liar.
I
mean, it's just the honest to God's truth. Every politician is a liar.
Yep. No
Because
doubt
they're
about
gonna
it.
tell you what they want you to hear to help you get them in office. And then once they get in office and the money start coming in and the people start worshiping them,
What you say?
then they change.
I'm here to tell you. And now we had there was this company that back, you know, wasn't no hospitals back in the day. So we had this one guy, smart as could be. So he's going, let's do this. Let's raise $1 million and we're going to build a hospital. The federal government is going to give us another $1 million. We're going to build a hospital in Brownsville, Tennessee. So he said, now we're going to have a potluck. So it goes out and runs over an insurance company that worked for this company. One of my neighbors' dad worked for this insurance company. So he goes out and run over where cut the fence on my grandfather's property. Let one of the calves get out, and then he takes the car and run over it and use that for the potluck. So you got soup on the courthouse on the square in Brownville, Tennessee. And this guy said, well, if you pay $50 a month, we're going to have a barrel for you. Man, my dad at Air Master, we paid 50 years, $50 a month. And when my dad died, he had $250 worth of insurance.
What? Get out of here.
Man.
You said $250?
$250, man. This man did a funeral home. It's a funeral home down there in Brownsville. That's how it got started. Potluck, you win, you got a ticket. Everybody got a ticket and a bowl of soup. You win a refrigerator or a stove. That was it. They have two gifts a year.
Okay.
Back here, black white TV, you get a refrigerator and
or
you get a deep freezer or a stove.
Right.
And I'm telling you.
And y'all pay $50 a month for how long?
50 years. That's just on my daddy's side. 50 years, man.
And all they gave you was $250.
$250 for his burial. Amazing.
Man.
This company never did go stock market. They kept it all in the family. And there's some kin to us on my mother's side, but they kept it all in the family. And they right now they own 2 Chevrolet places in Jackson, Tennessee. All the Sonics, Jackson, Brownville, Sonics, everywhere. I mean, But black folk, I don't know what they call them, whether it came from slavery. I don't know what kind of mentality do we have as a race of peoples. I mean, we got an opportunity out here, best brand distributors. Brand. They want to build a new headquarters in Bardo, Cross Bradley Parkway, where the phone tower, and they want to build it right there. And those people have donated, contributed money to Cancer Foundation. I mean, some of everybody that you can think of. And then some of our neighbors don't want it. They want the man to sell the property to the landfill already across the street.
Right. I know where the landfill is.
It's an industrial property, man, across the street. And they want to, not take a chance, don't want to risk letting this young man, 5th generation,
Yeah, best brand. Yeah.
5th generation, don't want this young man to come and bring opportunity to Bardo.
I don't want to get started on Bardo because my partner Dave, he lives out there also.
Yeah,
and
Dave.
Dave. He tells me about all the people out there that are so against Bordeaux getting better.
What you say?
He said there's some people out there with some horrible mindsets and they don't want to get together to see the betterment of Bordeaux.
You're talking about opportunity, we let something like this get away. I mean, what is the future? I mean, what is the future going to be for Bardo?
They're going to sell out. Y'all going to have a bunch of apartment complexes out there.
Well, they trying to come. Now they want what they want to do. They close down Cheatham Place gradually. And then this guy come up, he says, I want to build 280 units. I got a tax credit for it. Okay. No, I don't want to build a 280. I want to build 480. and then you're gonna get a 1-bedroom for $885. I said, okay, so you trying to bring cheating plates out here, man? What are you trying to do?
Right.
You know? And I mean, only the people with that money can do it, man. I mean, this time here, who you know. And I tell anybody, Nashville is who you know now.
Of course. That is the way it is now. You're right about that. It ain't about what you can do. It's about who you know.
Who you know.
Yeah. I agree. I realize that. It's about who you know and what they can do for you and you can do for them.
There you go.
That's it. That's what it's about.
Look at this Nashville Next and Nashville, what do you call it, Nashville Next and planning. You know, look, those people plan and turn it down. Okay. Plan and turn it down because they don't want you to grow.
Right.
Right. They don't want you to grow. They don't look. This is landfill country out here, man.
Yeah.
For some reason, you know, they're not getting the message yet. I mean, we've been living one rain for the last 40 years. Since I've been out here. 38 years. They don't want somebody to come here and bring jobs. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, Mr. Joe, we've done our hour, and I wanted to say this. If you had a message to the world, what would it be right now?
Love your neighbor as yourself. Because what you do to destroy families with just try to make a fast buck, there's no fast. If you make it fast, it's gonna go fast. And I would say this to our young men. Young men, we have like 7, just be 7. When I was coming there, we got 9 young ladies to 6 young men. Start being young men. Parents and fathers that have the young men and young girls and stuff, teach them at home. Tell them about life. And what life is like if you do this, life is like if you do the wrong thing. There are straight roads and crooked roads. I mean, like my oldest son, if he had stayed on a straight road, he would have his own restaurant. But no, he wants to, you know, take a pair of tennis. Who here tell somebody to take a pair of tennis shoes, throw them up in a light pole? What do that mean, Mr. Blood?
I don't know.
Mr. Crip? Your daddy done bought you a pair of Jordans, and you're going to take them and throw them up in the light pole. Have mercy.
Man, listen, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for telling your story. Where you said your website is where people can find all your merchandise, right?
Yeah, we have everything on sale on the website.
Okay, and then
in fact, and then I'm gonna let you go. In fact, it was a Saturday, the day before Christ was raised, that I got my first sale of products. I'm sitting there saying, Lord, I already know you're good, but you telling me that something's finna explode? Huh? Eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard what God is finna do.
Man, there you go.
I commend you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Doc.
And you have a wonderful night. And I will see you. I'm going to have Dave bring me out to see you.
Got to. And
yeah.
When you do, I'm going to take my head off, take up collection for you.
Okay. All right.
Love
I
you.
appreciate that.
Love you.
Love you too, Mr. Joe.
All right.
Bye-bye.